Hi, chessmates. This is Coach International Master Roderick Nava, and this is my first time doing an English video regarding chess. And this is my extension channel from my native Tagalog language because I'm from the Philippines. So I build up my channel from my native language. So this is the first time doing an international chess channel because I speak in English a little bit. So please bear with my English. And I hope that someday I will explore more and reach out more my English vocabularies. Okay, so we're going to analyze the ongoing tournament from chess.com. We called as the Chess Super League. So I will show you some little bit information. So the Chess Super League is a team event which will be held online from October 11th to 17th October 2021. So each team will consist of two top international players, two top Indian players, and two top Indian junior players. Wow, what a great idea in this kind of tournament because the two recruited international players will bring more improvements for Indian players, I believe. So the total prize fund of this event is 54,000 US dollars, a huge amount of prize fund for a chess tournament. Okay? So the time control is 15 minutes plus 10 seconds increment each move. All right? And the first 5 days will see a league stage with different pools from which the top 4 teams will qualify for the playoffs. Okay. All right. And then the well-known players participating in this league are Ding Liren, Anish Giri, Teimour Radjabov, Hikaru Nakamura, Sergey Karjakin, Wang Hao, Hou Yifan, Muzychuk sisters, Koneru Humpy, and Vidit Gujrathi, Nana, Dzagnidze, and Alexandra Kosteniuk, and many more. All right, this information came from the leeches. Okay, so I cropped the information and I post here. All right, so 3 rounds are done. So we're going to focus analyzing the game in round number 3. And here is the pairing. Okay, from Ruthless Rooks, the lineup are Karthikeyan Murali, Radjabov Teimour, Muzychuk Anna, Harika Dronavali, and Raha Harshit and Salonika Zaina versus the team Quintessential Queens, composed of Grandmaster Koneru Humpy, Super Grandmaster Sergey Karjakin, Tanya Sajtev, Hou Yifan, Iniyan, and Priyanka K. Yeah, okay. So from the Kingslayers, Giri, Sethuraman, Sonia, Dzagnidze, Gcash, and Arpita versus the Crazy Knights. So headed by Nakamura, Sasikiran, Muzychuk, Gomez, Aryan, and Mrudul. And from Brutal Bishops, so it composed of Wang Hao, Vidit Santosh Gurathi, Kosteniuk Alexandra, Karavade, Zadwani, and Tarini. Okay, versus the pivotal pawns Gupta, Ding, Abdul Malik, Kulkarni, Arjun, and Zavitha. All players are great players there. Alright, so but mostly we're going to focus analyzing the games from the top players. From board 1 or board 2. Okay? So this time we're going to analyze the game between Vidit from Team Brutal Bishops versus Ding Liren for the team Pivotal Pawns. Ding started the move d4. Vidit played knight f6. Bishop f4. Okay, so a very well-known bishop f4 for London system. Then Vidit responds with d5, a very normal controlling the center. e3 to give way for the light square development bishop. Then black played c5 to get more space in the queen side and also at the center. Then Ding took the pawn with d takes c5. So this move is very unusual. So normally here white plays with c3 as a normal trademark of the London system, strengthening the d4 pawn, solidifying the d4 pawn. But here, Ding took the pawn, d takes c5, queen a5 check, then with the idea of turning back the pawn gambit. So knight c3 covering the check, queen takes c5, then knight b5 with a very simple idea, a very simple but nasty idea. Then black forced to play with knight e6 to protect the c7 square. Then white played c3. So solidifying the d4 square, also covering the b4 square for to avoid any check on it. And bishop d7 develop with tempo attack, a4 to support, to strengthening the knight. Then e6 to give way for the dark squared bishop diagonal development. Knight f3 development, bishop e7 preparing to castle. Then bishop e2 also preparing to castle. So castle, castle, queen b6. All right, so what's the idea of queen b6 behind Vidit plans? So maybe Vidit wants to use his c5 square for his knight, or freezing the knight to not moving anywhere because of the threat queen takes b2. So here, Ding played queen d4, offering an exchange queens, but ignores with bishop c5. So what will happen if Vidit will take the queen? So if queen takes d4, then white simply retake with the e pawn. Follows with bishop d3, rook fe1, controlling the solid semi-open e file, and followed with knight e5. And white will grab a very good positional advantage. All right, so that's why Vidit played with bishop c5, queen d3, rook fc8, of course, to use the rook in a very important c file, b4, attacking the bishop away, bishop e7, rook fc1, preparing to protect the c3 because it considered as weak pawn. Then queen d8. What's the idea of queen d8? Maybe Vidit avoids the coming a5, threatening his queen. Then Ding goes back to queen d4, attacking the a7 pawn. All right, so queen b6 going back again. So offering an exchange. Then bishop e5, strengthening the bishop, centralizing the control. But as you notice in this position, white Ding ignored the captured with queen takes b6. After a takes b6, yes, black creates a bad pawn structure, but the compensation on it is he brings some activity along the a file in the future. All right, so yeah, the rook on a8 is very strong control along the a file. So that's the purpose of that idea. So here, that's why Ding played bishop e5 and bishop e8. What's the idea of bishop e8? So Vidit wants to play knight d7 and he wants to use the f6 pawn and e5, something like that. But a very timing moment. So Ding relaxed with h3, prophylaxis, and releases the background weakness and protecting the g4 square. h6, the same idea, prophylactic move, so protecting the g5 square also. And now Ding captures the queen on b6, a takes b6, then bishop d4. That's one of the idea of playing bishop e5, then bishop d4, attacking the weak b6 pawn. Now Vidit simply responds with knight d7, so protecting the b6. It follows with f6 and e5, trapping the bishop. So it follows with a very nasty idea in a simple knight d7. So here, white played bishop d3, so playing with e4 immediately so that the dark squared bishop will having space as a escape square. So Vidit played f6, that's the plan, e5 trapping the bishop, then e4, so to give space immediately, e5, bishop e3, then here, Vidit played a very great move. And can you please guess what is it? I'll give you a couple of seconds to pause the video, then after that, I will show you the great move. Start. Thank you very much. Vidit played f5, a very strong move. So taking advantage on the e4 square coming. So forcing white to react immediately. Then Ding captured the pawn on d5, then it goes with e4. Yeah, very strong idea indeed in this position. So here, Ding played a counterplay with d6, but moving a simple way, bishop f6. So the fork still remain. And bishop e2, e takes f3, bishop takes f3, attacking the pawn on b7, but a very simple rook a b8 to defend that pawn. Then a5, yeah, creating some counter pressure. So b takes a5, rook takes a5, knight e5, attacking the bishop on f3, bishop d5 check, at least to gain tempo, but a simple block with bishop f7, bishop takes, king takes f7, then d7, attacking the rook on c8. So what's the idea? With a very simple trick, attacking the rook at the same time, clearing the square on d6 to jump the knight there with a double attack. So something like that. If the black knight will capture the pawn on d7, but Vidit responds with a very simple way, rook d8. So to move away from the very dangerous fork and also attacking the d7 pawn overextended. So here, knight d6 check, king e6, then white captured the pawn, knight takes b7. So yeah, to remove the defender of the knight, force move, rook takes b7, then rook takes knight check, king f7, c4. Okay, so the only chance of Ding Liren here to survive is to create some nasty ideas with c5 followed with c6, connecting two marching past pawns at least, yeah, to get more counterplay as much as possible. But Vidit captured the pawn, rook takes b4, c5, then black took the pawn with rook takes d7, and the nasty plans are totally gone. So there's no connected pass pawns anymore. So here, white played c6, rook c7, of course, black needs to block the pawn, rook a7 to force the blockage of the white's pass pawn, and bishop d8 simply to support the rook. Then rook ca1 with a very simple plan with rook takes c7, bishop takes c7, then rook a7, pinning the bishop there. But black played king e6 with the idea of playing king d6, then getting the pawn on c6. So rook a8, attacking the bishop, knight takes c6, defending the bishop at the same time, then rook c1 with the idea of rook takes bishop, knight takes, then rook takes c7. And now bishop f6. Of course, black needs to move away his bishop. Then rook a6, planning to get the knight on c6, king d7, supporting the knight, rook d1 check, king e8, rook c1, attacking the knight back again, knight b8, another great move by Vidit to escape in this very annoying plan. So he has to play knight b8 with the counterplay, knight takes rook on a6. So here, rook e6 check, king d7, then rook takes c7, and black captured the rook on e6. Very simple, with an extra piece, extra knight, and here Ding Liren resigned. What a great defense by Vidit. He showed his very defensive way. Okay, so that's all for this game. I hope you learned from this game. And I'll show you the standing after round number 3. Here's the standing updated. Okay, so Ruthless on the top with a score of 4 points and tied with Brutal Bishops and the Kingslayer. So I guess if the team won, then they will get 2 points. That's why 2.5 Ruthless, then 4 points, then 3.5. So they won the 4 points and 3.5 considered. So that's why they got 4 points here. Alright, and Pivotal Pawns with 3 points, Crazy Knights with 2 points, and Quintessential Queens, they got only 1 point. Alright, so that's the updated score after round number 3. So let's gonna wait for the results of round number 4, and I'm going to pick some great games there, and we're gonna analyze the game, especially the top boards or the top players. Alright, thank you very much for having your time to watch this video. I hope you informed in this tournament and you learned from this game. And if you haven't subscribed yet in this channel, please do subscribe to get you more updated in this channel. Alright, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time, God willing.